Bonjour and welcome in a new episode of Soulpunk TV for the second part, the second interview of Eve, my money priestess. Yeah. And
I love these names.
yeah, if you haven't watched the first the first part, the first interview, I'm gonna put the link somewhere there or there. I don't know. It's always switch, or in the description as well. And for the first interview, I've prepared a lot of questions that I didn't have the time to ask you. So hopefully that will be that will be the right time. So if you want to get to know Eve, what's her story, and what's the message of money? If money were your best friend, was your best friend?
Mm-hmm. If money was your best friend, yeah, that's what they told me. It was a channeled thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really take credit at all.
It's the book that you're writing, and I'm gonna start right away. Where's the book?
The book is partially in Google Docs, which is the good news. And then partially in a diary, which I photographed. And I found, because this was back in 2016.
Wow.
So I have both the handwritten version in photographs and partially in Google Docs already started to be written out. He's pressuring me about it.
I do, because the way we met is like the reason we met is like it's a very important part of my life. You can see I'm like deciding to adorn myself with the abundance, the colors of abundance, in order to channel that same energy as you.
I do like that. I found over time that gold light has come to me to help me a lot to heal. So yeah, I totally amber, like your eyes, are that amber color. Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, that light amber or dark gold, burned gold is a color that Gaia actually has, very much like the cover of the table type of amber.
People can't see, but
yeah,
okay.
I know. I'm telling you, just that's a color Gaia actually shows me a lot and pumps into me when I need support, when I need energy, when I need to recharge.
Let's say
yes,
on track.
Good point.
I'm gonna practice to be more reframing. You see, it's very new for me to do interviews, but I need to frame. So
thank you.
Let's get it under 1 hour and go straight to the point.
Good, use it.
Thank you.
Good. Okay, keep going.
There we go.
What are the questions?
It gives me another question. Don't look.
Okay.
So the book is in Google Doc, is in your diary. Are you expecting for more people like me asking for it to be manifested, maybe?
I never thought about that, but that's lovely. I like that.
See, it's like that's the reason maybe what I'm pushing that and presenting that to people is like, would you be interested in a book about a spiritual relationship with money, titled "If Money Was Your Best Friend"? Tell us in the comments, because maybe that's what you just need to finish. I don't know.
Yeah. That's a good. I never thought about that, but sure, yeah.
But even without any comments, I will push you because I want this book to help me. A very, very smart question that has been asked by a friend in private is like, Eve, how is your financial situation right now?
Ooh, growing, really, really growing, which I'm so excited about because, okay, let me, I do have to backtrack just a little bit just to say how far I've traveled as well and how frustrating it was to feel that something is mine and that I should have access to it, especially people who have this magic energy. It's like such a big part of you knows that you should be able to point at something and just get it, and you also know about blocks, and then somehow you can figure out how to go from here to there, and that took about 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think but everybody's journey is different in terms of time, but what's happened in the last 4 years since the NDE that I told the story last time about the near-death experience is a lot of cleansing, like everybody else.
Of course.
And so that actually took me, and I know it's weird because the story always sounds the same. You listen to a lot of people and the story sounds the same, and then it happens to you and you're like, oh, this is horrible. And then you look back and you're like, wow, it was amazing.
I'm glad it happened. Okay.
Yeah, so I went, I was never in full bankruptcy, never in full like financial ruin until 3 years ago, or 2 now, yeah. And so it never happened in my life where people had to buy me coffee, I call it, because basically it was just like, you have change in your wallet and you just don't know why you're trying so hard anymore. And there's obviously a lot more to say about that, but that period was the cleansing one, because what I learned is that we don't actually need money the way we think we need it, and all the fears that live deep, deep, deep inside of us that they can't be healed out if you have money. And this is really interesting.
That is very smart.
You cannot plan your own financial ruin, and no one would ever wish it, but we're so afraid of it that we cannot get rid of our blocks.
Okay, that sparks a lot of questions. More.
Yes.
So first, are you financially secure and safe? Very. Thanks to this relationship you build with money.
Yes. Well, with myself, honestly, I would say.
Yeah, of course.
Money is just one aspect, because it's also the same rules of life apply to love, relationships, health, your own body.
It's the same like friendship, relationship with the universe that you apply to money. Interesting.
So I wouldn't say just money,
What are the common fears and blocks? She disappeared from the screen.
It happens, it's okay.
What are the common fears and blocks you see in people? Or you've been through? Or you notice in like maybe the 2, 3, 4 major blocks that prevent people to experience abundance.
Shame from wanting more. Disbelief that it is available.
Yeah.
Those are two different ones. And then deserving, of course, which is very well hidden, that one. That's you'll hear, of course, a lot of people talk about the worthiness problem. And I was always a very self-confident person. And so when I first heard about the worthiness issue, I said, oh, well, I don't have that problem.
Interesting.
Oh my God, we all do. Across the board, all humans have that. I'm not worthy of this. And so a lot of the books that I read about money back in the day, I still do. I just now understand them. That's the difference, Before I read them with that panicked hunger, and now I'm just like, this guy's smart,
So the 3 blocks you just expressed are like, so shame of wanting more, disbelief of possibility of having more,
the possibility is not even there,
cool. And does the book address those blocks, for example, in a way or not?
Probably, well, it will. It should. Yeah. The way it was channeled to me was really just the opening chapters, I think, of something bigger. So that's a good point. You can write that down. That could be like the closing chapter or the because the book was really money talking to me.
Yes.
And money telling me its sort of birth story and how it feels about being part of humanity, and it wasn't having a nice time. It was not having a really good time with us, the majority of us. Cool. Because there are a lot of people on the planet who actually don't have these issues, believe it or not.
No, that's true.
They really don't. And the thing is, because we exist in a reality that we vibrate at, you'll encounter and you'll watch TV, whatever channels, YouTube or anything, that vibrate at your version of reality. But the more that I'm actually leaving that reality behind, the more I'm realizing things that never crossed my mind. Like, I'm meeting people that live in such abundance of spirit and heart space and financially, but it's just they don't even think about it. It's not at all the same paradigm of the really wealthy, snobby, mean people who put up a big fence and da-da-da. No, they never thought about that. It's us, the ones who were afraid or who are still afraid, who exist in a paradigm where there's evil rich and all poor people. But outside of that paradigm, there is a whole other social reality.
I'm lucky to have friends.
I did not know that.
I'm lucky to have friends who are abundant, and they are where I would like to be. They're not like in luxury, you know what I mean? But they have more than enough, and they're like the kindest.
I would say.
Yeah. For me, that's luxury, and they're the kindest people I know. They're like, I'm glad money is in their hands.
There you go. That's a good one.
And that would be my next question. Is like money,
that's a good one.
like money. I'm pretty sure in the hands of which kind of people does money want to be?
Yeah, that's a very good question, because it just It just wants to create. So, for example, so it likes to be in the hands of people who would use it the same way you would water your plants.
Oh, that's nice.
So if you have a bunch of plants in your house that you love, or if you're a farmer, or if you're a parent. Really.
Nurturing, that's the word that came to me. Nurturing.
That's what it is, exactly. Nurturing is the correct word. All of that energy that we pour out onto the things or objects or people that we love, that's the energy of money.
That's beautiful, because there is
if you can get yourself to feel that, you're more than halfway there.
Because
the rest is blocks.
Yeah, because I understand that in the position I'm transitioning, thanks to you, thanks to everyone I'm meeting, but
thanks to you.
Oh, okay. It's like my relationship with money, and I think a lot of people can relate, is that I always think about what can money do for me. That having more money will fix this.
Yes.
But you never ask, until I met you, I never ask, what can I do for money?
Yes, that's true.
What can I do for that energy?
I used to think that way too. I just forgotten now. It's actually difficult to talk about things in the past, because once we heal something, I'm sure everybody's noticed. Once
you forget.
No, it's not almost. It's gone.
Yeah, no.
It's 100%, and you have to be like, oh yeah,
that's why it's good for me to be kind of this bridge. This bridge between you.
And I'm still transitioning, but what I'm discovering is much more abundance at levels, like I said, that I did not even think existed.
So so the question is like, what can I do for money? If money was my best friend, it's like, it's not a one-sided relationship. It's like money will do stuff for me, but I do to do my part as well.
Yeah.
So the most intuitive things that come to me is like, pay it forward. It's like, if I'm abundant enough to pay for my food, for my having a roof and whatnot, I should be able to give, even symbolically, a little bit to people in need, or to what? I don't know. What is your opinion on that?
Feel free. The opinion is that that should never be a condition to you getting wealth, because that is another hidden way of not worthiness. Because a lot of times, especially in spiritual circles, we say, well, I want, and I did that too. I did that for quite a few years, where I was like, I want tons of money so that then I can set up these centers, and I can do this, and I can do good for the world.
It's always far in the future and never right here, right now, with the small amount we have.
Yeah, that's one thing, exactly. No, I did with the small amount too. Actually, when I was absolutely the poorest, I heard about the, what's it called in English? This is really hard word. Where you take 10%?
Teeth.
Yeah.
Teething.
Tither. Yes, it's a horribly hard word.
T-A-T-H-E.
It's T-I.
The tithe. Teeth.
Tithe.
Right,
I think
so
it's, I don't know.
my English,
Yeah,
French
two
guy.
non-English born people tried to pronounce tithe, but I think it's tithe. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But it's the 10%, and so actually I did that. I did that at my poorest.
Oh wow!
And it felt really empowering, because it gave me the feeling at the time that I needed to say, I would like to develop this promise with money. I would like to develop this relationship with money when I have, $1. When I have $2, because I just would like to, and I did. And I used it for healings. So for example, like when we would go to a healer that doesn't take money, I would give them that money. And actually it was surprisingly a lot of money, because you start realizing, I do have money. And there's 1/10 of it only in this jar that I will give away in this one. It was just good feel.
Yeah, right.
Good feelings.
It comes from me, it's like, it's once again, it's Matt Kahn who said something like, you will never feel abundant enough until you start...
feeling abundant.
Paying back. Like giving out, giving back.
Maybe.
You will never feel abundant enough until you give back to someone in need, because it's the strongest demonstration for yourself that you have enough. Even if it's not the case yet, and you calibrate on that vibration.
Even if it's not the case yet, that's a good one. Yes, that's a trick. It's you have to use a lot of tricks on the way there, for sure. Any trick that you read about or you hear about, apply it. If it works for you, use it.
Especially, it's a bit hard. I had a resistance actually to start.
There you go. That's
doing charity.
Oh, that's
because
really
I was like, no, it's.
No, if you find resistance, jump for joy.
I just started last month actually. I have like a payment set for a very small charity.
Good.
Well,
but more important than the charity though, heal your resistance.
Yeah, sure, but it's part of the process.
Okay.
I guess.
Because you could have, I in the past, like long time ago, had automatic donations. Did not heal me.
Oh, okay.
Because I wasn't healing myself.
Because it wasn't intentional enough?
Yes,
Ah,
for me.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good
so
point.
use it to heal.
Intentionally.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna switch that and apply your
Every
advice.
month it comes out of you. Say, oh, thank
Intentionally,
you.
yeah.
Thank you, and bless the money.
Yeah, it's even I remember Jim Rohn. You know the speaker, Jim Rohn,
No,
fantastic speaker, and he pays his taxes with pleasure.
They are. Yes.
Fuck me, hates. I'm a libertarian. It's like taxation is thief.
No. Money is a game. It's a toy. It's a pleasure. It's pleasure to get a massage. This was really hard for me. That's when I understood how deep my worthiness issues were. It is such a pleasure to play around, to get yourself a really awesome haircut, to give money away. Oh, you need some money? I have so much. Like, here, take. Like, it's fine. Would you ever tell someone, no, this breath is mine, this air is mine, don't breathe my air. That's my air. Don't breathe it, please, because I don't know. I might not have some in a minute.
But what would you say to people who are kind of the opposite of that? It's like I know some friends. They're amazing. They're awake, alive, smart, creative, and they're always struggling with money. And when I address that in a very practical way, it's like, can we do that? So, no, I don't have the money. It's like I say, well, I see obvious ways you can improve on that. And then you know what? They say, yeah, but money is not that important.
That was me. Yeah.
Well, what would you say to? And it's very common. Yeah, it's very common in spiritual people.
Oh God.
Say money is not important. It's something of the flesh, of the world.
Exactly.
But you can see how much it's restrict their ability of enjoying life. What would you say to those people?
Very good question. I think that's probably one of the best questions ever.
Thank you.
Because you said last time I love money, and actually it took me 15 years to get to say no. I don't know how many years to say I love money. That was insane. That sentence to me sounded insane.
I have specific friends in mind that would do the same. They would say, no, I don't like money.
That would be insane to say. So that is actually tons and tons of healing that they really have to want to go through, because you can't do it for them.
All right.
Cannot do it. You really cannot do anything for them. What you can do is get rich and show joy, but even then they've already seen people with money and joy. True. And you can now make the journey for them. Maybe you can talk to them about it. And one of the important things to try to kind of comprehend is, first of all is of God.
Sure.
So this is really important. All is of God.
Including money, as you said.
A knife is a tool that you can cook wonderful things with, and you can stab someone with.
Of course.
Right?
Of course.
So all is of God. So if they get to a point in their life, those particular people, where they choose not to live in misery anymore and squalor, because that's just, it gets old at some point.
Yes.
You can be 20 and live in misery. You can be Kurt Cobain. You can be an artist and live under a bridge for a while. And I know people who are 70 and they do it. But I don't know. For me, it was very exhausting. To keep that up in my head. And my ego was actually really upset. My ego was upset at me. It was just like, look at your friends, look at other people, why don't we have that? Yeah. And so the battle with the ego was always like, well, you shut up, you're evil, right? And then eventually you grow up in spirituality enough and you realize that no, your ego isn't all that evil, it's also a tool.
It is from the divine as well.
And exactly, and so everything is from the divine. And so how I got through that is that I finally understood that nature, or God, really loves everything. And so I'm very open with my channel and with my guides. So they tell me sentences or formulas that I run through for a long time. They'll just give me formulas that unlock things inside of me. And at first, sometimes I'll be like, I don't understand this. But months later, I'll see the huge...
But you've been repeating it even if you don't understand it?
Oh yeah, because it just kind of runs in my head. It's almost impossible not to. So they said to me one time, God loves everything and loves to enjoy everything. And so that was actually a really hard one for me, because I realized the garbage that you see on the street, God made that and is enjoying it.
Yeah.
God feels love
for... The scenery is the video game of this experience.
Yes, exactly. So it was just because I used to really hate people who behave really badly, or are yelling at their children, or are yelling at their dog, or whatever experience is bad, negative. I was having a hard time not judging. And so that helped me a lot to actually stop judging. It was very hard, mind you. I mean, this took like, maybe a year of constant repeating.
And even then, just to say, judging is not bad in itself, because judging is also part of the game of God. To create an ego that can judge and have desires
Sure, but when you see that it's blocking you, then from
it's part of your. It unfolds naturally.
That's what it is. It's part. Yeah.
It's like fighting against your judgment will never work, because you need to just embrace it with love, and then it dissolves.
Yes, and basically the solution is always embrace it.
It's always
with love.
Yeah,
always.
Sure.
Always embrace it with love, and then it dissolves, for sure. At the end of the day, no matter what tool you use or what system you follow, what religion you follow, it doesn't matter. At the end, it's always gonna get to that.
I'm very curious. Can we play a game right here, right now?
Sure.
Would you channel a sentence, like a phrase, a code, for exactly for those people I talk about, people who think that money is evil and not important and not good, and just
keep talking.
Yeah, that's it.
That's how it works. No, keep
talking. Yeah, I know. So, for example, I would be someone who's like, oh, like money is not it's not that important. Like, I don't like money. It's like only evil people have money anyway. I don't need that much. And then you can see that I'm really struggling anyway, and I could very much improve my situation.
Yeah. Don't refuse love.
Oh, yeah, nice. I feel the tingling.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Don't refuse love. Money is love. Don't refuse love.
It's a gift from God. Why you? That's exactly what I was just saying.
Beautiful, because it's a disconnection from an expression of love. Amazing.
It was just like, why are you pushing away a gift?
Don't refuse love in that expression of money. Beautiful, thank you. Can we do the same for people in debt?
It's the same. It's just an excuse.
Nice. Yeah, amazing. Cool. You can come back.
There's something about the debt. Hold on.
Oh. I've been in debt.
Because it's a really good excuse, that one.
It's like we subconsciously create an excuse to separate ourselves from abundance, even if it's not conscious.
Oh, absolutely, all the time.
And
say, oh, I can't do it, I don't have the time, The thing about debt that I'm getting is there are so many tools. If you're serious about actually going on this journey, but you gotta be really serious, as in pull out all of your excuses, write them down, write them on your mirror, and just decide that you are actually going to go after them one at a time. I'm literally being
but this is
told
very
that
pragmatic advice, which is given for people. There's a lot of tools in there.
Tools are unlimited. They are healing modalities. There's tapping. There is quantum. There's so many healing modalities. It really doesn't matter which one you use.
There's your book coming soon.
Yeah, that's just, that's like small in terms of, no, because there's really
it's
powerful instruments that I use and everybody uses. And if you don't know what they are, we can write down a bunch underneath the comments later. But the thing about debt that I was getting, that I wanted to say, is like, it's your choice. This is an important thing that we have to, everybody really has to start understanding. We are choosing the reality that we live in. This is really important.
It's a very hard one for a lot of people.
Yes, it was
it's
for
a
me
wake-up
too.
call
I'm not
for
talking like I'm just, I fell off the sky all perfect and everything. Not at all. But I recently, I would say maybe the last year and a half, and more in the last half a year, it just keeps solidifying more and more. The truth about choice. The truth about choice, that anything that you see in your reality, you attracted, you chose it. How and when you chose it, you're not going to remember. You're going to say, no, I didn't, and this and that. No, you are choosing it. Now, why are you choosing it? It could be ancestral lineage. It could be karma. It could be you just learned it from your family, from your culture, from TV. It could be, the list goes on.
It doesn't even really matter. It's what you're going to do with that.
Exactly. It does matter. The list matters. I'll tell you why. Because you take your list and you go heal it.
Yeah, sure. No, but I mean the root, the cause of that.
No, it doesn't matter, but you go heal it.
Yes. Okay.
Once you realize you are making choices based on some information that was given to you. And now, but you gotta really own that. Oh my God, this is my choice? Okay. I choose differently, right? I choose this.
Yeah.
And it's gonna start coming out. And when it starts coming out in a conflict or in a depression or in sadness, whichever ways it starts showing yourself, just remember that you made a choice like yesterday or a week
Oh,
ago, and say, oh, thank you, that is going to help me heal. Boom. That is going to help me heal. Like, don't forget you made a choice. Because a lot of times what we do is we'll pray for something, we'll ask for something, we'll say, wouldn't it be nice? We'll write it in our diary, and that's requesting something from God or from the field of, quantum energy. But then we kind of forget we requested it. And as we're being guided there, we're going to go through a lot of unpleasant things.
Bridges of incidents.
Yes. But we forget, oh wait, this is guiding me on the journey where I wanted to go. And we're like, no, I don't want this pain. I don't want this pain. And now you're like, well, you asked for it.
It's part of the journey of healing.
Okay. So this is really important. To always remember that everything that's happening in your life is actually contributing.
Yeah, sure.
So say thank
to your
you.
Healing.
Every day. Of course. Like, oh, I just, yelled at my friend, or they yelled at, whatever it is.
Of course.
This must be helping somehow. Even if I can't tell how it's helping, it must be helping. Because I know that already, that's how the universe works.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
So.
Can I, let's move on to another question, if I may. In the first interview, in the first part of an interview, you spoke about the origin of money. That was beautiful, like how money was born and how it felt coming in that world. Do you think, because you're connected with money, does money knows where it wants to be and how it would like to get to evolve and grow up in this planet?
Wow, very nice questions.
And I can trigger you a little bit more. For example, I'm very enthusiastic with the decentralized technologies, like moving away from the banking system, using maybe cryptocurrencies. You know what I mean? Those decentralized way of.
Don't use that as an excuse to hate money.
Oh no, I don't.
I'm just saying.
Okay, it's a good warning for. Yeah, right.
Everything is okay if it's not a hidden excuse for a block. Very, very important, because as you said earlier yourself, we always like to put things in the future, and we say, oh, but now it's horrible. And
it will never be. It will never improve if you keep saying it's horrible and horrible.
No system is gonna help you.
Of course.
That's important. Whether the cryptocurrency is good or bad, I'm not really getting a yay or an A. It actually doesn't even matter so much. Humans will do what they'll do. It will be creative. It will be tested, and if it happens to serve the social environment, it will sustain itself. It's like nature is self-sustainable, like a seed bursts a plant that produces thousands of seeds, right? That's always the mentality of God.
That's the infinite
more,
game.
More,
sure.
More. So the way to really improve, first of all, your relationship with money and with love and with health, everything, like we said, everything. This isn't just about cash at all. Is to adopt that environment of like, yes, more, oh my God,
it multiplies
more.
Itself.
Yeah,
that's what it meant.
Nature
It's not a zero-sum game where you need someone to lose in order for you to win.
Exactly.
That's
Very
the old
good
paradigm.
Point.
Yes.
Very good point. It's not even. It's interesting that we humans have believed that is the old paradigm, because that's never been nature's game.
But
when has nature?
That's true. But that's the
it's a made-up game. That one.
The problem is that is the media.
Absolutely.
The mass media game is like there's the evil rich people who are controlling everything, and you will get stuck forever.
The scarcity game. I believe is invented by humans.
Of course.
I think so, because it's certainly, look at nature, like it doesn't understand what scarcity is.
And as a matter of fact, we never live in a time in all human history where extreme poverty has been that low, statistically speaking.
Oh, of course.
It's like capitalism work actually.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It works.
And what is poverty anyway? Because what poverty was, in the 12th century, and what poverty is now, you can't even compare.
No, yeah.
So it's like
so many people have access to water, to medication, and stuff that even a king in the Middle Age didn't have access to.
Yeah, but they also were not poor. Right? They were not. They had the fields, they had the sun, they had the birds, and they had seeds, and they grew their food, and they were happy, and they had clothes, and they had love, and they had animal. Do you know what I mean? So it's like it's an ego human concept that is now, I think, really cracking at the seams and really falling apart. So if anything, when we talk about the old world, is our old perception. And actually, if you notice, children have that, and we as a species, I think, we're just growing up, because children have that concept of like, no, mine, give it to me. It's like I don't really want to lose it. I don't know what I need it for, but don't take it.
Yeah, mine, yeah.
Yeah, and I think maybe some of it or a lot of it is learned by watching adults. That's very possible. I can't tell what's truly
nature or nurture.
Yeah, I can't tell on that one, but I do know that as you when I was a child, at least I remember this very specifically. If you gave me a chocolate, I really, really, honestly did not want to give any piece away.
Yeah,
I didn't.
Yeah.
I had to get told by adults that it's not nice, and I was always reluctant. And so there's that scarcity feeling, and I think it's a survival mechanism of the human body of like, well, what if I don't have it. I don't know. So I think we as a species are growing out of that child phase
and the
of
more
scarcity.
And the more light workers can be, I think, a demonstration of abundance and love, and showing that it's safe to be wealthy, guys.
Yes.
And it's useful. It's of service. I think that can be a lot of.
There's so many little aspects to it. There's that. There's the safety. There's the is it fair? There's the who am I to? The disbelief. There's it's just a step by step. You gotta get yourself out of every trigger that you find inside of your heart that blocks you. And that's why If Money Was My Best Friend was really a nice parallel that they drew for me. My guides was like, you don't have any issues loving people, right? You don't feel depleted loving more friends. You don't really feel even angry with people you really love. You forgive easily, but with money, oh no, if you don't have enough in the bank, you start cursing it in your head. If you have to work really hard for it, you start cursing in your head. But you would never curse in your head your friend that you had to spend too much time with.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
You would be like, oh man,
that's why your friendly relationship is really by itself, just by its definition, and healing and dissolving a lot of resistance, I think, considering as being a friend, money as a friend.
Absolutely, yeah. The book actually compares your best friend. Take your best friend and imagine if you had to do similar things with your best friend than you do with money, and you never would. You just never would. You would be happy to see them. You would be happy to hug them. You would be happy to. You wouldn't even be so concerned where they're going, why they're leaving.
Yeah, true.
Oh, they're coming back. Oh, they're leaving. Oh, they're coming back. Oh, they're leaving. I'm so happy. That's fantastic.
There's no jealousy and possessivity.
It's like when you really
open invitation, you come when you want, you leave when you want.
But with money, we're not like that, etc., etc. So if you start comparing in your own head, like how you address money's movements in your life and your love relationships in your life, you will see how far off the love of money you are. And then the good question is, of course, people, like you said earlier, would say, well, I don't want to love money. Why? I don't, I want the banking system to die. And by the way, I wanted that too for a while. I was just like, let's please not have to deal with this anymore. Can we just not deal with it anymore, And the answer was no, apparently.
It's part of the word, so.
Yeah, and so they would say, well, like, why do I need to love money? The thing is, why you have a body? You have air that you breathe, so why do you need to breathe air? Maybe just stop. You know what I mean? But it's silly, but it's like that. It's like, it literally, why do you need to drink water? Why do you eat? How did we decide that money is evil but food is okay?
Yeah, right.
How? Why? When?
Yeah, but some people decide like this is like structures like sex is evil, money is evil.
Too. Yeah.
A lot of things like this, like related to freedom, like even some stuff that are obvious for us now, they would be considered absolutely witchcraft in the past. Like, giving
of course.
is like, for example, in the past you were to work as your father's work as well. It's like you didn't have that much freedom.
Yeah.
Individualism was evil.
Yeah,
having your own rights. Being a free woman.
Yeah.
That was you were like
a what?
You were burned at stake for being a free woman. Come on. So it's like so many stuff are obvious to us now and will become obvious in the future. And I think
that's what it is. We're growing and we're expanding, and money is just a really nice part of that, and I think it's just really high time. I guess it is high time, since somebody like me who was so terrified of it, so against it, who really, really just believed that it was the root of all evil. I swear, like that is, I guess, how I was raised, and I had to start. That's why it's taken me so long, because back in the day, I had to start writing lists of what are all of my associations with money from anything that I can remember. And I started bringing back memories of things parents have said, grandparents have said, or how I was really embarrassed riding in a really old car with my parents when I was a teenager, etc., etc., etc. And so those are just, again, tools. You gotta go and use all the tools. You've gotta use all the tools and get all these little chip away at that wall. Just chip away at that wall.
I have an idea of a tool. Just, I have no idea if that works or not. But for example, money is just one of the many words we can use. We can use cash, we can use liquidity, we can use different words to define money. Would that help for abundance as well, obviously? Would that help for people who are still a bit reluctant of embracing money in their life to use other words?
Anything helps that loosens the noose around your neck a little bit.
Would you share some other? Does money likes to be called with other names?
Oh, it doesn't mind. It doesn't care.
It doesn't mind.
Oh yeah, money doesn't care about that. No, actually, what the universe in general cares about, as most people already know, is how we feel.
Yes, perfect.
So if you can bring yourself up to a place where you can just sort of breathe a little easier, that's fine.
Okay,
doesn't
cool.
even care.
Yeah, I'm to the point where I love to be. I love to be exuberant. I love to be trigger magic with strong words.
Okay.
And there's this idea, like for example, I would have no problem to use the words treasure. Luxury, like it's a luxury. I live in luxury, like not in magazine standard.
If it helps you, it's very individual.
Yeah.
If it helps you, I'm sure if you had told me before I live in luxury, or if I try to say I live in luxury, and keep in mind, I still push myself every single day.
Wow.
Oh yes. Oh, of course. Why would it be? Because it's ever expanding.
Nice.
Right?
Okay, cool.
So like I have and I get a lot of visions, like I said. So even me, constantly, like now I'm getting visions of these gorgeous apartments, and guess what's getting triggered? Oh, really?
Do I deserve that? Right.
And then I have to be like, ding dong, yeah, okay, yes. But now I really have these tools ingrained in me, like they're really part of my DNA in such a strong way that now I can go, haha, and then step over that threshold.
Nice.
So that's why I think maybe the only advice, honestly, is keep working at it. Don't give up. And even if you have $2 in your wallet, that does not mean that you failed the game of money, because that's just a phase.
Sure. It's like you said, it's a friend who just come and go and...
Well, even actually the really scraping the bottom, I find that it was a phase of release. I never, like I was saying in the beginning of the video, I never felt so free in my relationship with money when I had none. And for the first time, you know what I realized? That God is taking care of me.
Yeah, that was my...
That was the release. It was just like,
oh
my God, I don't have to be afraid anymore.
Because you survived.
Not only that, I felt so great. I had friends and people who were helping me, and magic things were opening up where I could live for free here and there, and all of a sudden I realized that the big fear that we have of not having enough money is not real.
It's an illusion.
It's not real. And a lot of people can testify to that, to not having any money and then having a big takeoff because of that, because you let go of so many fake beliefs at that moment. It's really
amazing.
It's really unpleasant.
But I really hope
it's really unpleasant. I cannot wish it on anyone, but I wish it on everyone to free themselves that way.
Yeah, but maybe your book, maybe your book will be able to help people to tap into the abundance without having to go through those kind of dark night of the wallet.
It's a very good one. Dark Night. That's the second book. The Dark Night of the Wallet. That's a really good one.
Of the bank account.
Yes, I think not everybody needs to do that, because I've witnessed a lot of friends tapping into the energy of money without having to go rock bottom. But if I can think now, actually, of my wealthiest friends, they have
Yeah, but maybe
They
it's
have
time
gone
now to
rock
move
bottom.
on, and it's like we also do this part of working for the unconscious collective.
I know, yeah,
And
yeah.
so we can help people.
No, I'm not saying it's for everyone. No, it's individual. But my point is, if you end up there, if you end up in that period, be super happy.
It's not as easy said and done.
No, it's not. It's very unpleasant. But actually, if someone listens to it, because you know what, if I had heard something said like that, it would have helped me.
Okay.
I never heard that before, actually.
All right.
So if someone's hearing this and they eventually or currently in that phase,
Struggling.
open your heart and go, this is amazing. I am in such a good place because now I can actually look at all of my triggers and see how
and embrace them and heal
see
them
how
for
they're
good.
not true, though. See how they're not true. People took care of me. People who because then you truly realize spirituality. Then you truly realize we're all one.
Okay.
You start feeling we're just all one little bunch of fingers. I know we've said that, we've read that, but it's really when you need it that God shows up for you and you're just like, I'm free.
Amazing.
I'm free.
Amazing.
I'm God and you're God and the air is God and the water is God and money is God and oh my God and I'm free. And it's like, wow, okay.
Cool.
So I kind of wish for everyone to nosedive into their fears, but
there are smoother way to do so with all the tools that you can.
I do believe that. I do believe that. And you can always ask for gentler ride. Yeah.
Well, you know what?
Always.
I think we went over all the questions that I had.
Oh, good. Those are really good questions.
Well, thank you very much.
Nice.
Can we end up with a very small transmission meditation about a blessing maybe for this YouTube channel and everybody watching it?
Absolutely.
Because you have an idea of what I want to create with this YouTube channel and the Soul Punk TV universe. You have a rough idea of where I'm going to.
Of course.
And you know that I want that to be a gateway of abundance for me and for the people watching me and for the world. So.
Actually, yeah. Give me some space here just because my arm is tired now. There we go. One practice that is ongoing, no matter what level with money you're at, that I learned from the Japanese guy, I can't remember his name now, who wrote the really wonderful books, right?
Poor Dad Kiyosaki.
Yeah. So, and the reason why I like him so much, because other people have said that too, but for me, he like stuck with it because he's just so adorable, his glow, and then he does, of course, the arigato, it's like the whole accent thing and everything. And he said, of course, you can say it with thank you and merci and da-da-da, but I just love the arigato because the way he said it. So this is what I do, and I really love it, and you can use it no matter what level you are. Really bless your money. Really bless your money and just like take it and hold it, and when you take it out of the cash machine, like hold it. And this has a lot to do with if it was your best friend's hand, you would cherish holding their hand. You would cherish hugging them, being with them. If they only had 5 minutes for coffee, you'd be so excited to spend those 5 minutes with them. So when you're taking it out of the debit machine, really just try not to think about, oh, it's the last money I'm taking out. No, instead say like, oh my God, look, it's coming. I get to hug it. Like if your friend only had 5 minutes, right? It's okay. It's still 5 minutes with your friend. And just anytime you put it in your wallet, you take it out of your wallet, and you touch it and just bless it. And what I actually added to that for me is I say to it, I like whisper to it, I love you. And then when I give it away, I try, and I sometimes forget, but if I forget, I go backwards and I kind of yell back, just like, thank you.
All right.
If I
forgot, I know.
Sometimes, I forget.
By the way.
I'll do a transaction and I'll keep going, but then I'm like, I forgot to
bless
that bill. And then what I bless it with though is to really bring abundance or richness to that person's life.
Yeah.
And so like I send it on its way, but I'm asking it actually in my head to like, please help them.
Be of the best service for them.
Help them out. Even if it's help them to understand whatever. And that blessing every time you give it away And I sometimes or most of the time say to a come back 3 times.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
like it. That's nice.
So it's just like here, take it, and I'm just like, I love you, come back 3 times. And I'm
Come
like,
back with more friends.
And do really good stuff. You know?
Oh, nice.
And
It's
so like
really
when I
fun.
give a tip to people, a lot of times, sometimes people here in Bulgaria, especially, they might be shy to take a tip for something, and I'm like, no, really, you're doing me a favor because it comes back
It's gonna
3
come
times.
back more. Yeah.
And they're looking at me like, okay.
Alright, that's weird, but alright.
So those are a few
Interesting.
blessings that I do all day long, and you can do at any stage, and it's really fun. I find maybe not too many blocks that you could have with those.
So funny thing, when we were just there, because I don't have cash on me right now, I felt connected to my bank accounts. Like it would be like the houses, like the small houses where the money lives.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, they're over there. They're in their own little huts.
Yeah.
They're having fun.
And don't hate on the banking system.
Yeah.
I used to. It's useless.
It's hard.
No.
It's hard for me.
No, it's not hard. It's really not hard. Like, just understand that the way that our world works is structured, and that's why please also listen to that book. There is amazing books about money, obviously. Everybody's gonna get helped by a different author and by a different book, so just keep reading, just keep working. If anything, this message here is just keep going. If absolutely it will work. If it took me this long and it worked, I really was disappointed in myself. I thought that I was doing things wrong, and no, just keep going, because you are chipping away at a very big wall.
Oh yeah.
So don't get disappointed. Keep going.
All right. Would that be the last word?
I guess.
Keep
But
going.
I mean, keep going.
Keep
with
going,
the
nurturing.
healing.
I like the word like nurturing. That's what Ivoca would say. It's like
Nurturing, loving, opening up.
like taking care of your plants. Money is like taking care of your plants.
Yeah. It's like air. It's like.
Cool.
Yeah.
Super. Thank you so much once more.
You're welcome.
For this beautiful interview. If you have any questions to ask Eve on this topic, if you want to give her a little bit more push to please write the book. Do so in the comments, and we will keep you updated anyway with this because I'm learning a lot, and I will do also some
Thank you.
feedback on my experience with this.
Yeah.
Cool. A last hug. Thank you so much. I love you all, and see you soon. Bye bye.